business page or my personal page? Oops. Happens. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily Motivation, 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over again until they become habit. Hey Amy, hey Jazz, thank you for watching, and anyone else that takes their time to watch this. Hey Amy, I really appreciate it, and if you have time to watch this later, I also appreciate it. Because like the great Jay-Z said, you can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. And today I want to talk about your education, my education, our education. Are you continuing to learn? Are you continuing your education? You know, I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and I remember I went to a workshop for real estate, and one of the presenters of the workshop showed us a video. And this was a true video. This one you can actually find on YouTube. And it was a banker in a meeting with a congressman. And he says, we make money off the ignorance of the American people. I want to repeat that because it shocked me when I first heard it. It was live. I mean, for everyone to hear, he said, we make money off the ignorance of the American people. Now, how many other people are making money off others' ignorance? Because they just don't know. And when you don't educate yourself, you put yourself in a category of not knowing, not understanding, and not possessing knowledge that would take you to the next level. Just today, I was driving home and I'm listening to Robert Kiyosaki's Retire Rich, Retire Young. It's a great book. If you never read it, I advise you to read it. It's called Robert Kiyosaki's Retire Rich and Retire Young. And he says rich dads, keys to wealth, one of those keys is education. Not just academic education, but financial education. And even T. Harv took it a step further for spiritual education, mental education, to understand you. The more you know, the more no one can wipe the wool over your eyes. See, when we don't know something, somebody could tell us anything, and we can believe it because we don't have the knowledge or possess the knowledge to know if they're lying or they're being truthful. Or they put themselves in an advantage above others because they have the knowledge that you don't have. Where they used to keep very seldom things a secret. And it kind of trips me out a little bit that we live in this golden age of information. We're in the height of the information age. And we have tons of information, and people are still not educating themselves. There's tons of the information is available, but we're still not educating ourselves to advance ourselves in the right way. People said, Rich, why, if you're a motivational speaker, why would you get a general contractor's license? Because I want to educate myself on real estate. So I'm the ins and outs. Why would you take a job as a construction manager in real estate? So now when I flip a house, I did it hands-on. Nobody, it's not from a book, it's from my physical hands that I help build a home. So when I do flip a house, I know exactly what I'm doing. Rich, why would you're a motivational speaker and author, why would you take a course on taxes? Why? Because the more I know about taxes, the more money I keep. See, you look at it as time to study and like, man, I got time. I don't have the time, Rich, and there's so much information that I have to spend time to look at. I look at it as money. I look at this book, when I pick up a book, I remember Grant told me this once. When he picks up a book, he's looking for $1 million. He's looking for $1 million in that book. That's why he reads books. He says, each book has a gem in order for me to create my reality, to create the life that I want. But that's only if I continue my education and I educate myself in all the aspects of things that I do not know. Again, if you don't understand taxes, you spend more money. If you don't understand business, you have the issue of losing your business. If you don't understand investing, you have the issues of putting the bad investment. So whatever you do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you should educate yourself and be an expert in that game. I was listening to an interview with Mark Cuban, And he said, if I'm doing a business deal with somebody and you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to run you over. If we're in competition and I know more about my business, my industry than you, it's over for you. Why? Because I have the work ethic plus I have the knowledge. That's a double threat. If I have the work ethic, I have the heart, and I have the knowledge, that's a triple threat. So whenever you are trying to create anything in your life, if you want to be an actor, you should be studying acting like Gilliard, the books, different actors, how they get into their scenes. When I started to learn speaking, I went to Toastmasters for a year and a half. And then I went to Les Brown's organization for another year and a half. That's 3 years of education. So when somebody says, hey, I could teach you about speaking, I said, no, I'm okay. But I still educate myself regardless. I said, okay, let me see a little bit of your course. Why? Because I continue my education. The more I know, the better I can become. And when I learn something, I learn it to teach it. See, that was a key that somebody taught me. Don't learn just to learn to teach. Because if you can teach it, that means you know it. And if you know it, that means you can be an expert in your field. But many times we try to become experts in our field. We try to be the best in our industry, but we don't educate ourselves in that same industry. I studied Jim Rohn's life. I studied Zig Ziglar's life. I studied Eric Thomas's life. Why? Because I want to become the best speaker I could possibly be. So I want to learn and grow from their knowledge and wisdom. When everything you're trying to do, if you do not continue your education, you're letting others, one, surpass you. Two, you're letting others to bank on your ignorance. Again, that banker said, we become rich, we become wealthy, we make our money off the ignorance of the American people. The more you know, the more you grow. So one thing, if you want to accomplish anything in your life, educate yourself. Continue your education. Continue your skills. Learn about the industry you're trying to go. Learn about the people that were successful in your industry. Learn about them as much as you possibly can. Because what happens is you become the expert. Not letting others know more than you do, but you know. And not knowing that you have to know everything, but now I'll give you the last example. I started learning taxes. And so I went to my CPA one year, and she said, well, Rich, you know you can't do that. I said, yes, you can. She said, well, Rich, this I can't deduct this. I'm like, yo, no, you can. You can. So now you have educated conversations with the people that are working for you or working with you. So now you can have an educated conversation versus if they know everything that you have. Hey, Jamel, if they know everything above you, they can tell you anything, especially for construction. That's why I want to become a contractor, because contractors, I've worked the jobs, they'll tell you anything. They're like, yeah, mark it up like 40%. Because if you don't know, they'll bank on your ignorance. So the more you know, the less that somebody can take advantage of you. So the more you educate yourself, the more you continue learning, the more you work your brain muscle, the more success you will have in your life. Why? Because you'll know as much as your competition, you'll know as much as the people working with you, and you'll know as much as what's going on in the awareness around you, so you can make proper moves that will help you reach the successes that you truly want in life. It happens through learning. You see that my Monopoly board? The reason I have that Monopoly board, because that's my education. I play Monopoly so I can educate myself on how business tycoons think. I play cash flow. I used to play cash flow religiously because I want to understand how do you invest. And then I look at my life and I said, yes, that educated me to make the proper moves to move forward in the future. So when I continue to educate, you see my banners there. I continue to educate myself. Why? Because the more I know, the more I grow. And this life, this game, this success game, this life game is all about the growth of you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Cash flow, smartest game ever. I mean, that's education. That's education. Play the game. Learn the game. Learn your attributes of your industry. Learn relationships. You know, Jazz and I, the smartest thing we ever did was buy books on relationships. It was like the smartest thing we've ever did. Why? Because when we fight, there's always a reason for it. There's an underlying reason that from our ignorance, we can't see. And so we think it's the other person, but really it's things that we don't know about each other. So as we get better in relationships, I understand how a woman thinks, and she understands better how a man thinks. That means we interact better with each other. That helps build our relationship. Nothing comes by just laying down. Everything you want in life comes by learning. Comes by learning. And the only thing college really taught me was to learn how to learn. The more I learn, the better I become. And the better I become, the happier I am. Again, the man said they make money off the ignorance of the American people. So the more ignorance you are, the more you're letting others take advantage of us. And the more they take advantage of us, the unhappier we will be. And the less successful we will accomplish. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. I just want to give a quick shout out to Marilyn. Hey Marilyn, I heard you reach your goal. Shout out to you. Applause. She's kicking ass. Thank you, Marilyn, for always watching, and awesome for you for reaching your goal. That's one woman that's steadfast and ready to be successful. Thank you, Jamel, for watching. Thank you, Alita. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Sue. And thank you for everyone else that had a chance to watch this either now or later. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me, but either way, I feel this was a successful conversation. Love is love. I appreciate all of you. Namaste. Remember, the more you know, the more you